I'll tell you really, the way it's supposed to be, it's gotten way out of hand, and tznius has become an issue. It's not an issue. What tznius really means is like this. You get up in the morning, you get dressed, and you go. That's tznius. You get up in the morning and you look in the mirror and say, well, maybe I should unbutton one button. Maybe I should make the skirt a little shorter. What? What is your problem? Get dressed and go. That's called tznius. Girl gets up in the morning and says, oh, my skirt needs to be longer. Something's wrong. You have tznius dika clothes. Put it on and go. What's the big deal? If a person is hung up on either way, it means you're too preoccupied with this thing. To be tznius means you've got no problem. You get up and you go because you have a life to live, and you go live it. Yeah, but is the skirt like this or like that? Oh, come on. It's not a life. So it's not like girls who are not tznius stay up all night figuring out how not to be tznius and get away with it. Girls who are tznius stay up all night trying to figure out how to be tznius. No, you shouldn't stay up all night thinking about clothing. If your clothes fit, put them on and go. I do get dressed in the morning. Really? It doesn't go so easy.
You get dressed and get up and go, and it's fine if the clothes aren't just getting up and going. It's fine if you're not thinking about it.
Yeah, but your clothing are tznius. You don't buy not tznius clothing. But let me tell you something else. Let me tell you what tznius really means. Whether it's a skirt or a button or a pair of shoes. What does tznius mean? Tznius means there are two ways in which people make contact with each other. I remember a girl who was severely depressed. Severely depressed. She was like in the hospital, and went to talk to her. And she said, the reason I'm depressed is because when I walk into a room, nobody sees me. I'm invisible. I'm so unimportant that when I walk into a room, nobody sees me. That's a problem. That hurts. Some guy once told me, he was a little nutty also. He said, just because I'm not perfect doesn't mean you can treat me that way. I said, treat you what way? He says, don't fake it. Don't try to hide. Every time I walk into the room, you walk out. I said, really? That can't be true, because I don't even notice when you walk into the room. He said, oh, now I'm really depressed. Like he was so preoccupied with himself, he was so self-conscious, that he thought that everybody does what they do because of him. So if you walk out, oh, because of me? No, not because of you. I didn't even notice you. He said, oh, now I'm really depressed. If nobody notices you, it's pretty sad. But there's another thing. There are people who are noticed. Everybody sees you, and nobody has any idea what you're about. Nobody knows what really bothers you. Nobody cares about the things you care about. That hurts too. So there's an issue. There's a question. What do I want most? Do I want to be noticed, or do I want to be understood? So there's a very interesting thing that happened at Har Sinai. The Eibishter said gather the people, I'm going to talk to them. Moshe came to the people and said, the Eibishter wants to talk to you. And they said, we want to see him. We want to see him. So Moshe Rabbeinu goes back to the Eibishter and says, the people don't just want to hear you, they want to see you. And the Eibishter said, that's very nice. And then what happened? They did not. They heard him, right? So it's almost like the Eibishter said, you want to see me? That's very nice. Now listen. I got to tell you something. Hear what I'm saying. So what the Eibishter is basically saying is, you can see me or you can hear me. I would rather you hear me. Because if you see me, you'll never know me. But if you hear me, then you'll know me. And I want you to know me more than I want you to see me. So Tznius means, I don't want to be seen, I want to be known. So if you want to be my friend, if you want to make contact with me, you got to hear me. You can't just see me, because that's not good enough. So not Tznius means there's something to see. Tznius means there's nothing to see. You want to know me? Then listen to me. Understand me. Get to know me. Now, who decides what seeing is and what knowing is? So if you wear a longer skirt, then people won't see you, they'll get to know you? It's a good question. I mean, why is it that if the knee or the elbow or the... Who determines where the clothing turn from wanting to be seen to wanting to be known? So only the Eibishter can make that kind of fine distinction. If you dress this way, people will get to know you. If you get dressed this way, people will just want to see you. I don't know. So let the Eibishter decide. The question really is, who are you? Don't assume that if you want to dress not tzniusdik, that's who you are. That's part of who you are. It's not the best part. It's not the deepest part. And the proof of it is that at some age you stop caring what you look like, because you've got more important things. So those things that are important will always be important. And you know, a grandmother in a miniskirt is a ridiculous sight.